He was shot because we don't have food in our fridge. He was shot because our co-workers of color are being incarcerated and sent back to their country for no reason. He was shot because we don't have health care. We are so mad up to the point that we're actually starting to take pew-pews and take them to politicians. And honestly, I do not agree with gun violence at all. I feel like there's other ways that we can have a discussion without having to bring out the pew-pew. But we have tried. We've done peaceful protesting. We've wrote into the government. But no, these red-sided people don't care. So what do you think we're gonna do? The red-colored people are like, he was such a good person. Why did he get shot? If you've seen the video on Twitter, please listen to the last 10 seconds of what he said before he went. And if you, honestly, y'all, he had it coming. I'm so sorry.
Now that at time of recording, it's almost been 24 hours since Charlie Kirk has been murdered, we are now in that stage where we're starting to see more and more people give their reactions. And then we're going to start seeing more and more people spout a bunch of conspiracy theories. And then we're going to see more and more people demanding some form of action. And ultimately, we're going to reach the point, unfortunately, for a lot of you who don't want to believe it, we're going to reach that point where we move on to the next topic. Yes, Charlie Kirk was this influential individual. Yes, he was a prominent figure in political discourse. Yes, he inspired a lot of people to come in and discuss things, whether if they agreed or disagreed, whether if it was about politics or sports. Yes, all of that is true. Unfortunately, I live in a world where after we get through all the smoke and mirrors, a lot of people move on. And what I find a little bit disturbing about a collection of people who are going to be in this camp of let's just start spouting things is that, unfortunately, for some people who weren't aware, because this entranced everyone's algorithm all at the same time, there was a school shooting in Colorado.
Nearly 24 hours after this shooting, a lot of new developments that we're learning as the investigation has been continuing all morning. One of the big ones, the shooter has been identified, 16-year-old Desmond Kelly, one of the students at Evergreen High School. Another update that she gave was that an update of the victims at the hospital. Earlier today, we were told that we're looking at 16-year-old Desmond Hawley. That is the shooter that was just identified. But going back to the victims, we were told an earlier report that one of the victims with non-threatening injuries was released from the hospital, but PIO Jackie Kelly gave an update that both victims are still currently being treated at the hospital at this hour. We're learning more details about the shooting. She said there was a lot of surveillance video in the school, at the school, and so the shooter's movements have been tracked. She says she has a lot of footage on that. She's not sure if the shooter was targeting anyone at the school or if this was random, but that there was a lot of ammo. The weapon was recovered. It is a handgun or a revolver, but there was a lot of ammo left. Multiple crime scenes at this school. And at least one scene was behind the school. So we are learning these developments as this investigation continues. The school was on lockdown, another thing that she mentioned, which prevented the shooter from going into certain areas, which likely saved a lot of lives. She says it could have been a lot worse considering the amount of ammo that the shooter had. So we are following this very closely, and we'll continue to follow this online and then in our 3 o'clock newscast this afternoon.
That a lot of people didn't know about because the Charlie Kirk news got everybody. And I'm somebody who understands that, yeah, everything tends to just often get missed. Everyone's not focused on everything all at once, and it's understandable. And when I see things like this, if you haven't said anything about the countless mass shootings, school shootings, or anything about ICE raids, Palestine, Black Lives Matter, and the violation of rights of the LGBTQIA folks, women, or folks without access to shelter, food, clean water, but want to talk about how we should or should not feel or react to how a pro-gun, pro-violence dude died via gunshot, literally shut the fuck up and talk to yourself. Do some self-reflection and interrogation of why you speak up for a white man who spews horrid shit against every marginalized community. No heart? Please. Look at who and what you're speaking up for. This is a sentiment I have seen too many times, not just in this example, but in every other case that involves somebody or a group of people dying. It's this weird, we must verify how good you are in terms of caring in order for you to speak about. because I'm going to venture a guess that this woman has not spoken about every single mass shooting, every single school shooting, every single instance that involves a black life dying, because that is completely narrative based. It is only this being said by people who hate the dude. And listen, you can hate the dude. You cannot agree with him. You can despise his takes. You can bring up how he made these comments about gun control and how some people got to die in order to keep it going and all that extra. That man was murdered. And if you ain't got it in you to just be like, I could disagree or I could not like the dude, but I still don't want to see him shot, then that speaks truth to why it's based around nothing more than a requirement and a checkbox for you to feel validated in speaking about something. Because a lot of people have not seen the report about the Colorado school shooting. And I guess you spending your time speaking about how you're displeased that people are showing respect to a man has entranced you so much that you're not going to speak about that. You're still a piece of shit. And like the thing that irks me just like a little bit is the confidence in this stupid rhetoric, because I've told you all that that pendulum will shift. It will fall to a point where somebody in a leftist sphere will lose their life, and you're going to see people make reactions to it. Need I bring you back to a few months ago when there were lawmakers, I think either lawyers, politicians that were on the Democratic side, I'm sorry if I'm not remembering it off the cuff because it was 2 or 3 months ago, who were murdered, and you had Republican politicians throwing jokes about it. This world is disastrously desensitized. It is. But what irks me just a little bit more is this random checkbox of, oh, if you haven't spoken about all these things, why the fuck are you speaking about this? Why are you going to sit here and speak about that? Why are you going to speak about that? Because people care. Now, do they care about every single thing? No. It's a fool's game to even think that every single person on this earth, even in this country, cares about every single solitary thing. It's impossible. It's not even something anyone could do. Not you, not me, not this woman, nobody. Everybody's not glued to every single thing. It's just a fact. But when I'm looking at this, and I know full well that this woman has not spoken about every single black life that has been lost, every single moment that has gone on in Palestine, every single ICE raid, it's just reactionary. It's just a means to be mad that you see people mourning the loss of a life. And the fact that you're so confident in that just pisses me off more. It's easy. I'm going to make it so easy for everybody right now. If you are somebody who is mourning that man's demise, if you are mourning it, continue to thoughts and prayers it, condolences, maybe some care towards the family. Continue to do so. If you're somebody who's like me, who didn't like Charlie Kirk, and still has a little bit of humanity in you to be like, yeah, that was fucking gnarly and he shouldn't have been gunned down like that, continue to do that. If you one of these people who dancing on his grave, you got to check your morality at the door, because at some point you gonna have to be in a predicament where somebody you favor gets shot and motherfuckers are gonna use that and be like, ha ha, neener. It's gonna happen. Because anyone saying otherwise, you live in Candyland. Anyone hoping for like some drastic outcome where we're going to start restricting guns for leftists, or like I said last week, you had motherfuckers running around thinking about it's a good idea to restrict the gun rights of transgenders. You're living in Candyland. And what criminal respects the law? Unfortunately, it's going to sound doomer pill. There's a part of me that's loudly wanting to proclaim nothing will change. This is tragic. This has created like a conversation amongst people. This has had people thinking like it's time to start loudly uprising against a bunch of leftists. But to me, I fear nothing's going to change. They're going to have a funeral for that man. He's going to be laid to rest. A family is going to grieve. Children are going to be traumatized. Ultimately, nothing will change. Nothing will be made different. Somebody earlier, because I'm currently streaming this right now, earlier somebody brought up, well, do you think that this will start having a ripple effect amongst people and towards their hatred of leftists? Democrats and Republicans already hated each other. Look at last year. Last year should have been like the significant moment in time where everybody realized that, damn, a lot of people hate each other for their political beliefs and differences. Division was already here. But stupid shit like this don't make it better. It don't even make it worse. It just proves that it's there. It proves that it exists. So let me just wrap it up like this. If you're evil enough to have your mindset catered around gatekeeping, caring about certain responses, you prove that you are not worth shit. You prove that you don't necessarily care about any of the things you listed here. You just want to make sure that a box gets checked so that you could feel safe in a hug box, which doesn't create change. It doesn't inspire any form of a revolution. It just proves what I already know. I am fatigued by humanity and the shit I see. And it's even worse because you got all these people running around just proving it and not doing anything to mitigate it.
If you're celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, you're a bad person. You're going to hell. Man. Fuck Charlie Kirk. The off-ramp to the high road is closed. We are not going to be made to feel bad about y'all bullshit hero that consistently spewed harmful rhetoric, that consistently put people's lives in danger with the bullshit platform that he was given by all of you racist goofies. This has nothing to do with conservative versus liberal. This has nothing to do with Democrat versus Republican. This has nothing to do with the left versus the right, because that's what y'all gonna prop it up as. And the alleged suspect is an old white guy. But I bet the mainstream media won't be talking about white-on-white violence. They won't be talking about gun control. They're gonna say there was an isolated incident by a lone shooter. And they're gonna hold off the identity for as long as they can, and it's gonna end up being a white guy. But we're not talking about these dangerous white men that just decide to get a gun and just start killing people. We're not going to be gaslit to feel bad about a terrible person. Is what happened to him sad? Abso-fucking-lutely. However, fuck that guy. I don't condone what happened to him, but guess what? God's timing is always right. Good day, goofies.
What if it's Charlie Kirk? What if it's any other influencer, leftist, conservative? This shit is embarrassing. And if I was to be somebody, I fit this category because I'm black and supposedly my life matters. Why the fuck are you lumping me in, random woman? I don't know you. You apparently work in suicide prevention. My mental health does not feel sanguine around you. Because why in the fuck would I take the time to feel as though, oh, you talking about this? Have you talked about the rights of these people? No. It don't make sense to have a gatekeep around caring about a subject matter. Because doing that proves you don't care about any of these other things. You're just virtue signaling for the fuck of it. And that is indeed dangerous and disastrous. I shouldn't even have to say it. But you know it's gonna happen. In case anyone ain't aware, when you tweet like this, expect the update to be you losing your job. When you're sitting there loudly proclaiming your disdain for the man, which you know is your free speech right. You can. Truly don't care if you think it's insensitive or poor timing to decline to respect an evil man who died. Get ready. Because people are gonna be mad. They're going to call your place of business. You're going to be fired. Which puts to bed this gimmick that some people throw around that if you're leftist or if you're Democrat and you say evil things, you don't get fired. Yes, you do. Why? Because what have I been saying for years now? A job don't care about you, don't care about your affiliation. They don't care about what you think. They care about their bottom line. Don't matter if you work as a janitor. Don't matter if you work as a journalist. Don't matter if you work at a news organization. You do something that looks bad on them, they're going to fire you. So, if you have all this disdain for the man, keep it away from your social media accounts. If you actually give a damn about your job. Now, maybe you're somebody who's a self-employed businessman or woman, and you could take that hit, and that's perfectly fine. But fuck. Y'all are proving points that your opposition is just ready to use on you. If you think these conservatives are just going to just sit there and just be like, No, they're looking at y'all right now and saying, yep, look at these evil motherfuckers. We got to do something about these evil motherfuckers. Now, what that thing is, I have no idea. I don't wish violence upon any. Like, sorry. Sorry. Like, I get it. Y'all hate the man, but I'm not about to sit here and hope that you get it too. No. I just despise how clueless everybody chooses to be in terms of subject matter. Gatekeeping how one should respond if they didn't respond to these things. Loudly just fucking your own financial over because you just want to say, hey, you hate the man. It's embarrassing. And I wish you people would stop, but that's not how the cycle goes. The cycle goes by continuously spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning.